Hi everybody. We hope that Module 1 gave you an insight about the current water and wastewater paradigm existing in developing countries. As we enter the Module 2 of the course, which is dedicated to the decentralized wastewater treatment, a paradigm shift, the concept, its principles. But before going into the presentation about the decentralized wastewater treatment, let's get our terminologies correct with what is wastewater, what are its characteristics, right? Because this will help you to understand the parameters which need to be taken into consideration while treating the wastewater. What should be the pH? What should be the biological oxygen demand of the treated wastewater? Does it meet the, the discharge norms or not? So, I will be taking you through the presentation on the characteristics of wastewater. So, introduction to wastewater and its characteristics. So, the structure of the presentation is to understand wastewater, types and sources of wastewater, characteristics, and if not treated properly, how it can impact human health. So, what is waste? What is wastewater? What is pollution? Let's get the definitions correct. So, waste is any material which is beyond any use in its current form and is generally discarded as unwanted. Wastewater is any water that has been adversely affected due to anthropogenic influence, and pollution is the impairment of water quality to the level that the water is no longer suitable for beneficial use. Now, type of wastewater, there are three types of wastewater. One is domestic, industrial, and the third is stormwater. However, in this course, our focus will be on domestic water and its treatment through the decentralized wastewater management approach. When we say domestic, that is the wastewater coming from residents, shops, offices, normally generated from toilets, sinks, and bathroom. Industrial wastewater generated by industries. However, the quality and the quantity will depend upon the type of industry. And the third is stormwater, which is the rainwater which we are focusing on. Now, there are two more terminologies. One is point source and the second is non-point source. Point source is a single source of pollution that is localized and easily recognized. For example, industrial effluent discharge and sewage treatment plants. Non-point source is pollution that originates from a widespread discharge. For example, agriculture, households, and industrial pollution that originates from a widespread area. Now, classification of domestic wastewater, it is being classified into four categories. One is the black water. What is black water? Water that comes from flush toilets, that is, comprises both feces and urine. Brown water is water which is primarily feces without urine, or yellow water. Now, what is yellow water? Yellow water is urine from separated toilets and urinals. And when we say grey water, it's washing water coming from kitchens, bathroom, laundry without feces and urine. Now, coming to the characteristics of wastewater, it has been categorized to three categories. One is physical, chemical, and biological. Now, when we say physical, the physical characteristics of wastewater comprises of turbidity, color, temperature, taste, and odor, and solids. So, turbidity means the degree to which the water loses its transparency due to the presence of suspended particles. Color, ideally, the age of the wastewater is determined qualitatively by its color and odor. The fresh wastewater is usually light brownish or grayish in nature, in color. But however, due to anaerobic condition, now anaerobic means in the absence of oxygen, the color of wastewater changes from gray to dark gray and ultimately black. Temperature of the wastewater is normally higher. Taste and odor may be caused by the presence of dissolved gases in the wastewater. Now, solids, there are three categories of solids. One is suspended, second is dissolved, and the third is settleable. So let me give you an example. Let's take a glass full of water and we add salt to it. We stir, the salt gets dissolved. So that is dissolved solids. Solids in wastewater, when passed through a filter, does not remain on the filter and gets dissolved like salt in water. However, suspended solid means material that do not settle readily but remain suspended in wastewater. And settleable means certain substances such as sand, grit, and heavier organic, inorganic material which settle out from the rest of the wastewater. Now, here there are two more terminologies, organic and inorganic. Organic means which contain carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and it's something which is derived from this, what you call, which is derived from living objects like vegetables. However, inorganic means which does not contain carbon and is derived, which is non-living in nature, like metals, right? Minerals. Now, coming to the chemical characteristics, the wastewater consists of pH. pH is a measurement of water's acidic or alkaline condition. It ranges from 0 to 14. Ideally, the wastewater should uh, range from 6 to 9. Oil and grease, if present in the wastewater, increases the biological oxygen demand, which we will be talking in the later slides. Alkaline is due to the presence of hydroxides, carbonates in the wastewater, and it also comprises of chlorides. If you're talking about domestic wastewater, it will have chloride in it. Another component when we talk about the chemical characteristics are the nutrients nitrogen and phosphorus, which is present in the wastewater. However, if we treat the wastewater properly, these nutrients are a source of resource. What they are being used as soil conditioner in agriculture purpose. However, if it's not been treated properly and is discharged into the water body, they are a source of eutrophication. Algal bloom happens due to the presence of phosphorus, increased amount of phosphorus in the water body. Another terminology is chemical oxygen demand. Chemical oxygen demand means the total measurement of all chemicals, organic and inorganic, present in water and wastewater. However, in domestic wastewater, the chemical oxygen demand will be low. The COD, which is it called, is mainly found in industrial wastewater. Also, one more terminology are the toxins. So, the nutrients, nitrogen and phosphorus, they if the wastewater is not treated properly, they get converted into ammonia, nitrates, and even have implication on the health of humans, and if discharged into the water body to the aquatic life also. Now, coming to the biological characteristics, you might have well heard that the BOD, biological oxygen demand of a wastewater, is very important to know because it determines the quality of wastewater. So, what do we mean by biological oxygen demand? It is the measure of the amount of oxygen that is required by the bacteria to degrade the organic component present in water or wastewater. The thumb rule is with regard to the correlation between COD and BOD. For domestic wastewater, the ratio lies between 2 to 4. For industrial, it lies between 4 to 6. And the it's the most widely used parameter of organic pollution applied to both wastewater and surface water is the 5-day BOD testing, right? And why is it important? Because it helps to determine the size of wastewater facilities which we want to make, wastewater treatment facilities. It measures the efficiency of some treatment processes and also helps to determine the compliance with wastewater discharge permits. So this table, it showcases the concentration ranging from strong to medium to weak with regard to the important constituents of the wastewater, be it total solid, dissolved solid, suspended, the nutrients, the alkalinity, the oil and grease, and the BOD. And apart from this, one more important is to determine the pH of the wastewater. For example, if we are implementing, or if we are planning to implement a decentralized or a centralized wastewater treatment system, we should have a good understanding about the constituent of the wastewater, so that accordingly we plan our system. One more important constituent of the wastewater is the pathogen. Pathogen means disease causing organisms, which are mainly present in the feces of the domestic wastewater. So it has been divided, the pathogens are divided into 5 categories, that are worms, leeches, protozoa, bacteria, virus, and fungi. However, the two main broad categories which you can find in the domestic wastewater is bacteria and virus. However, and the implication is that you have uh, waterborne diseases like diarrhea, vomiting, typhoid. If the wastewater is not being treated, it's being discharged into the water bodies, or it's contaminating the groundwater, which is the source of drinking water. Now, coliform. Humans have coliform in intestine which are excreted out, right? And each person discharges around 100 to 400 billion coliforms, which is bacterial in nature, per day. It is a cause of diarrhea, dysentery, typhoid if the wastewater remains untreated. Also, coliform bacteria serves as an indicator of bacterial population in wastewater. These consist of E. coli of fecal coliform. So when we do the testing of wastewater, it is also important to test E. coli. How much coliform is present in your wastewater? Okay, so that accordingly you can use that wastewater mainly for non-potable purpose. If you want to use it for drinking purpose, then you need to do a next level, a higher level of treatment. Now, characterization of wastewater has been divided. The main categories, the black water and the gray water. So the black water will have the BOD 60%, while as gray water will have 40. The phosphorus will be the same in both black and the gray water. However, nitrogen in the black water will be 90%, while that in the gray water will be 10%. And the black water will have high amount of pathogens in it. Also, it is important to note that the wastewater characteristics vary with regard to the number of occupants, type of water using fixtures, the lifestyle, the health status, the food you consume, the volume, and the source of generation. So, the water quality parameters, if we are discharging the treated wastewater or untreated wastewater to the nearby water body, if the dissolved oxygen is a parameter which determines the health of the water body. The higher the amount of oxygen present in the water body is the indicator of the better quality of the water body, right? However, if the biological oxygen demand, the BOD, is lower, the lower the BOD, the lower will be the organic matter in the stream, the healthier will be the healthier and a good quality of water body you will find. So this table is an indicator of the water quality of your nearby water body, be it with regard to pH, nitrates, phosphates, suspended solids, hardness, which may be because of the calcium, magnesium ions present in the wastewater. Okay, so this was a broad idea about what is wastewater and its characteristics. I hope it was informative to you, and if you have any queries, please get back to us. Thank you.